This is Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with Rick Warren and Gordon Park. Join us as we give our opinion concerning everything dealing with politics. We don't hold back, so prepare for a no-nonsense approach to the news, and no, we don't care about your feelings. Uncensored and no sugarcoating. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Coming to you from the United States of America, this is Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with Rick Warren and Gordon Park. Join us as we give our opinion concerning everything dealing with politics. We don't hold back, so prepare for a no-nonsense approach to the news, and no, we don't care about your feelings. Uncensored and no sugarcoating. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with Rick Warren and
Hello.
James. And James, why don't you tell me how to say your last name?
How y'all doing?
James.
Toups, T-O-U-P-S, Toups, just like Wayne Toups, yes.
Okay, I was going to say Topes, but I wasn't real sure. So I'm glad you told me, because I always just say James. That way I can't mess that up.
Yeah, my doctor always calls me Topes. I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go again. It's common around here.
Okay, so we've got a show tonight. Rick, say hi to everybody.
Good morning, guys. Or evening, sorry.
Evening.
Yeah.
And James?
Hello, how y'all doing? How's everybody on this fabulous Sunday night?
Danielle and Darren over here on the chat room already. They're waiting for us to get started, which is awesome. So I was talking to James a little bit before the show, and he was wanting to go over some of the stuff that's going on right now with the polls and what's taking place in the election and what we can look forward to. And Rick, did you have anything special for the show tonight?
No, I just basically was looking at what was going on across the country with, basically the COVID scare with the way they want to treat the president. President is right now saying that he's 100% cure, and they don't like that. They don't like that. You know,
Well, we love it.
Yeah, they're using it as a political ploy to go ahead and put any kind of negative light that might be possible in anything positive he might be wanting to do.
Yeah, and you can kind of expect that to happen. I mean, and I'm glad that he's actually feeling better and doing well now, and he can get back to running the country and taking care of his campaign.
Yeah, me too.
James, what do you got for us so far?
So you guys probably seen by now the communists up there, Nancy Pelosi, invoking the 25th, right?
Right.
Let me get, I want a point of view from both of you guys before I give you my point of view. What do you think, Ed, with you first, what do you think that the point of invoking this 25th Amendment is all about? What do you think it is, honestly?
You asking me or Rick?
Yeah, Eddie, go first. Rick, I want to hear from you too.
Okay.
The 25th, Nancy Pelosi's trying to push this thing. Let's see what you guys have, and then I'm going to give you my.
Well, if you listen closely to what she was saying in her speech, she was trying to make it very clear that this was not for Trump. She was making that very clear. And you got to remember, there's hidden meaning in everything that woman says. She's a snake, a very smart snake, and one that you should really watch out for. And I'm not talking Trump. He's already had his run-in with her. This is for Biden, because she is looking for a way looking for a reason to hang Biden out to dry and bring in Kamala as president. That's exactly what she's going to do. Biden, like I said at the beginning, and if you remember, Rick, when all this first started, I told everybody it's not Biden who's going to end up being the president. Whoever he chose as the vice president will be the president of the United States, because Biden is not there mentally. You know, he couldn't run a bathroom toilet the way he is right now. You know, the man is ill mentally, physically. He is not a well man. He is not capable of running the United States of America as a president. So what Nancy Pelosi is doing is she is looking for a way to get him out of the way if he wins and put Kamala in his place. And that's my answer.
Let me tell you how slick she really is, though, because you know what? She has and Rick, Eddie, totally 100% the point I was going to make right there. She totally has everybody convinced that she is doing this to get Trump out of office. That's how slick she is. So friggin' she's playing a chess game right now, right? So she's so friggin' slick that she's thinking everybody, yeah, this is against Trump. And a lot of folks are going, yeah, you're right. Yeah, she's trying to get Trump out of office. That's not the case. What she's going to do, she's using Trump as a guinea pig because she's not work on him. His doctors have cleared him, everything else. So it's not going to work on. She's using him as guinea pig test subject. And then boom, like you said, Biden, he's next, right? She's going to knock him out of the way, put Harris up there. And I'm telling you, she's going to come up with some bullshit to get Kamala Harris out of office too. So she's first in line to the codes. That's my theory right there.
So you think she's going to?
But you nailed it, Eddie. You nailed it.
You think she's going to work her way on up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this?
But they already know. Dems. They already know they've lost the election. They already know. You know.
Rick, what are your thoughts?
Right now, her aim was first and foremost this COVID thing that happened with President Trump. She wanted to slide in there with the 25th Amendment, which is exemplified only through a sitting president. Later on, as the tactician that she is, it's starting to be employed for anything and everybody around her, including Joe Biden. He's not even safe from Nancy Pelosi. Okay. That's what she's trying to do. That's what she's trying to do, is get herself configured around some way, somehow, through the amendments or any kind of other maybe judicial way or link that she can, to try to make it into office, or at least get Kamala into office.
I agree. And, you know, Kamala's going to be the next one up there, without a doubt, if the Democratic Party wins. Joe Biden is going to be on Nancy Pelosi's sights. He's in her sights already. If he wins, she's going to pull the trigger. And she's going to come after him, and she's going to be on him like white on rice. And he's not going to be able to get away. You know, it just, you know, he's not going to be competent enough to get away from Nancy Pelosi. And if she gets all this through, then, you know, Biden's out of the picture, you know, and Kamala will take over.
Well, with his doctor now saying that he is clear, and that I think the last thing that I saw on TV was the fact that he said that he wasn't going to say he was 100% clear or that he was cured, only that he was doing a lot better. So the war of the words and the semantics are still flying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, today, seen a statement from him today saying that he is cleared and he's going to push forward with the debate or the campaigning. So according to him, he is cleared and everything else. My question right here is, you know, Nancy Pelosi's been in office for what, I don't know, 200 years now. She might as well be. And so why all of a sudden is Nancy stinking Pelosi doing this right around election time, right when you have a guy that's incoherent running for presidency, right around the time you have somebody else backing him up and take over and just explode the Democratic Party? Why right now is she doing this? After all the time she had to do this, she is now trying to push this 20th Amendment, not to mention the fact that if something was to happen to our president right now, we do have a vice president to step in place, right? So why all of a sudden is she doing this? Strategic. I'm telling you, it is strategic and it's greasy as the day is long.
Absolutely.
She's just greasy.
Dennis says, yes, the Democrats know they have lost. So what do you think they will do next to take control? Rick?
Well, I think we're aiming the guns down the right sight as far as what Nancy Pelosi is trying. The only other time that I remember anything close to happening as far as coming close to the 25th Amendment, as far as it being invoked, was when John Fitzgerald Kennedy was assassinated. They hurried up and got Lyndon Baines Johnson into office. He was sworn in dutifully. And only in cases like that have I ever seen or even thought about thinking about trying to invoke the 25th Amendment on a sitting president.
James?
They're just so greasy, man. As far as what they're going to do next, I don't know, because I can guarantee you on a victory that night, after I go outside and shoot off all the red, white, and blue fireworks that I have, they're not going to put their tail between. It's not going to happen. They're not just going to stop there. Who knows what they're going to do? I mean, at this point, are they going to hire a hitman or what? You know, what are they going to do? Who knows, man? I mean, they've done some shady business up until this point, and I'm telling you, we have what, 23 days left?
Yeah,
right? Yes, 23 days till election.
Yeah, 23.
And I'm telling you, put your seatbelts on because you buckle up, man. It's going to get wild between now and 23 days. It's going to be a wild ride. What these people are capable of.
Now, Barbie says, I wish
people like
Nancy. I'm so sick of her nasty ass. And then
the same club.
Danielle says she's putting her ducks in a row. You're absolutely right, Danielle. She is preparing. You know, she's just waiting.
Yeah.
And you have people like Hillary Clinton sitting there on national TV telling Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, do not concede this election under any circumstances. What does that tell you?
Yep.
That tells you there's going to be all-out war come election time. Just wait. It's going to be. Oh,
absolutely.
And one more point, real quick, while we're at it. Have you guys noticed that since the Democrats realized that all the looting and burning and all that crap was taking place, it was hurting the election? How it just all of a sudden just went away?
Stops. Yeah.
As soon as Biden and all figured out it was hurting his campaign goals and everything just died out and went away.
Went away. And
absolutely.
It's amazing how quickly that happened. You know, that shows you the amount of dirt and nastiness that the Democrats have. Dennis says they don't know what to do. The Democrats are lost. This party is over. Well, I hope I can. I hope that's the case, Dennis, because I'm not sure what's going to happen with it, but I know that it's going to get ugly.
So going back to the riots and the looting and the stealing and all that other bullshit that they were pulling, like you said, as soon as Joe Biden and all made it known in their campaign and it was hurting their numbers, it stopped. It turned off like a light switch. If you notice that, right? So who's in control of the light switch? And getting paid to how much money are these people making to keep this going, and who's paying that? And just like talking about the CNN and PMS NBC and all these people, their reputations are shit now because nobody trusts them, right? So they're reporting all this fake news and everything. Rick, me and you talked about this earlier today, and so who's paying all this? Who's paying all these folks to ruin their reputation? And we'll rebuttal, say, in 5 years, right? So what happens in 5 years to regain their reputation? But for right now, nobody trusts the news, period. I mean, hell, even news is going downhill. There's only a couple on Fox that I look at, and that's Sean Hannity. It's my number one. Basically, Sean Hannity is my only one, you know. But who else in CNN can you trust? You can't trust anybody, right? So these guys are losing their reputation. They have to be getting paid off. So now these guys are getting paid off. Antifa, BLM, every one of these little outlets are getting paid off. And what happens? You know, all of a sudden the light switch turns off. I'd like to know who's in control of that light switch right there. That's my question.
We do have a political analytical post which popped up. It says, sorry for the absence at a baseball game with my son. That there is the phenomenal and all-wise constitutionalist Gordon Park. And he couldn't be with us on a night because he did he did have a baseball game to go to with his son who's playing. So he will be back with us on Wednesday night when we come back on Wednesday night. Tonight, though, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. But everybody give him a shout out and let him know how much he's missed because we all miss him over here.
Hey, Gordon, enjoy that family time, brother, and enjoy that family time. Doesn't last long, man.
Barbie said George Soros and many others helped BLM and the right with money and multiple other things.
She's right on top of that stuff with George Soros and the Rothschilds. One has to pay attention to what's actually going on with this Democratic Party because their pockets are deep. They have the Rothschilds, they have George Soros, they have all kinds of money-making machines that are going on right now, and their money is unending, it seems like. And James, your question as far as who is control of this, George Soros is the owner of multimedia companies, and he's the one that's on the payroll as far as those people getting what they are supposed to get from George Soros and their orders as far as that goes.
Yeah, somebody's in control. Somebody made that phone call and said, hey, y'all need to cut it out. We're hurting the numbers, and let's chill for a little bit and see what happens. Somebody's in that light switch.
Absolutely, because it all went away too quick and too conveniently.
I think you're going to see an escalation, guys. An escalation at the not only during the election itself, but after, whether Trump is defeated or whether he wins. Especially if he wins, there's going to be an escalation that evening, that night. You're going to be seeing the riots in the streets. You're going to see the protests. You're going to see chaos. I believe that.
Danielle says, I wonder how many quiet partners there are. I guarantee there's a bunch.
Exactly.
And Carrie says, hi, boys.
You'll never know that answer.
Now, Darren says hi to Gordon, but he's looking forward to Gordon addressing the question about the difference between nationalism and patriotism. And he did address that on the last show. But nationalism, to give you a little bit of what I learned from him, a nationalist is somebody who puts the nation, or I should say the country, the nation, before the people. And patriotism is somebody who puts the people before the nation. So with that being said, which one do you think would be best for the population? Should the country be stronger or should the people be stronger? And if so, why? So kind of ask yourself that question. And I think you're going to find that it kind of, in my own opinion, it kind of splits down the middle. You kind of need a little bit of both. And real quick, also,
yeah, that's absolutely right. But
Barbie says they funded the whole mess. George Soros had his hands dirty with blood from all that he has funded. Yep. I'm sorry, James, go ahead.
No, I think you're absolutely right on splitting down the middle, but I think the Constitution's in place to separate power from people. It's to protect people. But yeah, I'd be willing to listen to Gordon's example on that. But yeah, I think I agree with you, Eddie. It's kind of split right down the middle. Without the people, you don't have a country, and without government, you can't support and everything else. And
right. I mean,
not only support, but
each one has to be in place to a certain level in order to make the other one work. You know, that's just kind of
It
the way
has to hold hands. Yeah.
Rick, what's your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Agreed.
I agree with you guys. I think there has to be a marriage. There really does, as far as country, people, because without the people, there's not a country, and without a country, there's not a people. You know, and a lot of this has to deal with not only beliefs but ideologies. And when you start talking ideologies between difference of people and things like that, you have a whole quorum of different beliefs, and only through debates and through discussion and communication can we really get the best for our country.
Very true. And Carrie says, shouldn't the people be stronger? Because without the people, do we have a country? And in turn, Carrie, without the country, do we have the people? So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, so
North Korea.
it's tough to kind of like balance that thing. Harvey
Yeah.
says, need to be. Darren says, Rick is right. We'll be crazy for weeks after the election. Left is doing executions on the streets, etc. Then we have Dennis.
And I hope not.
Me too. Dennis says, I went to a gun show today. I've never ever felt so American. You wouldn't believe the patriotism. Trump hats everywhere, patriots everywhere, guns everywhere. I love gun shows, man. They're freaking awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I love them too. Let me jump in right quick on Darren. Darren, Rick is right. We'll be crazy for weeks. The left is doing execution on it. They're already doing executions on the street. They're already doing that. It's happening right now. These guys are people are getting street right now. There's children being shot on the street right now, and suspects are being picked up and released from jail less than 24 hours after they get suspect. It's already happening. So to back Darren up, the sexiest man in podcasting, by the way, sexiest voice in podcasting, Darren, don't get that confused. But this guy, with him back on there, he has this great British or Australian, I don't know what the hell kind of accent that is, but it is great. Yeah.
New Zealand.
Dude could read you a bedtime story, put you to sleep. New Zealand. Yeah, love Darren. He's great. But he's right. The executions are already happening on the street. I think piggybacking off of that, it's going to be more known and or it's going to be more shown, and probably, I'd hate to say, it's borderline legalized, you know, election if this happens. Who knows?
Rick, your thoughts?
We have a dysfunctional government right now. We have a dysfunctional people, and that we have these kind of things actually transpiring right now in the United States of America. You can sit there and look out your window and see the sunrise of a different day every day, but at the same time, you have to be in fear stepping outside. And that's not the America that you and I grew up in. That's not the America that we stood up for a long time ago. And that's not the America the boys died for, to give us this right to vote and to be a free country. We have anarchism across the land. We have judicial systems that are going awry. And this needs to be fixed. But how do we fix it? Through an election? What is going to transpire November 3rd if Donald Trump gets reelected? How is all this going to play and be put into place once he is elected?
Well, what's going to happen if he loses?
Exactly.
You know, and like you said, how do we correct what's going on? That's the main question. How do you correct it? Barbie says it's honestly sad what happened to America. It's very sad. And, you know, unfortunately, it's going to be like fighting fire with fire. And I think you're going to have to kind of fight violence with violence, you know, unfortunately. Yep. And it's a sad, sad thing.
It is. We have a division now.
It is.
A big division in this country. Every morning when you wake up, you see the ones that the haves and the have-nots. And a lot of the have-nots are the ones that's wanting things to become of an equal nature. And when they are systemically put down, for their beliefs and for their wearing Trump hats and everything else like that. That's not a cure. That's a chasm that just can't be crossed if we continue down this road.
Barbie says, no more liars or no more lifers in government office. Well, either way, lifers or liars. That's going to be a hard one to push through. Liars, especially
No
in this government. I mean, what do you want? But yeah, I do believe, Barbie, like you said, about term limits. And Danielle says, agree, term limits on all political positions. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, here you've got Joe Biden that's been in politics and been living off taxpayer funding for over the last 50 years, and he hadn't done shit. I mean, the guy's worthless as tits on a boar hog. It's it's just not. He's not worth anything. The guy's an idiot. And
name
office.
name one bill, one that Joe Biden has passed in 48 years. I'll wait. Name one.
Oop, we just lost James.
Oh man.
He'll be back.
Okay. All right. But no, I mean that's the futility and what we're looking at as far as voting for a politician who's a politician for his own sake, not the American, not the common man, but for his own sake, Eddie.
Yeah. Now, Gene P. Smith says if Trump wins, he will need to strike the first match. Do you think he should strike first or let them strike first? I think, honestly, if he strikes first, I think it's going to look bad on him. But see, honestly, though, if you think about it, and it's how he does it, he really, he really hadn't struck first, or he's not going to strike first because they've already struck numerous times. So, I mean, I think this is something that, even no matter what he does, they're going to try and make him look shitty, but they're going to come after him again anyway. I mean, even if he wins, they're not going to stop coming after the man. He's going to have another very long 4 years, and it's going to be hell the next election as well. And Darren says, I think the best for America will happen after the worst. After President Trump gets back in, it will be an absolute death roll with the left, but the best America can be or can arise from that. And I agree. Let me get James back in here. He just jumped back on.
I thought I was the one with Wi-Fi.
There's always somebody.
No, I have Wi-Fi issues.
Yep.
Yeah, I have Wi-Fi issues sometimes. I got like 28 kids over here playing Xbox and all that other stuff they're doing. But most of the time I'll hook up with the, what do you call it? Oh, shit. I'm thinking Wi-Fi.
Hotspot?
What's the name of that? Hotspot. Yeah. I normally hook up with Hotspot, but tonight I just forgot all about it. So sometimes it glitches and goes in and out.
I thought I had it bad out here in the country with this shit or net, but you guys are, where you should have decent internet, and man, mine's been holding up better.
I've got a 5G.
Yeah, you're kicking ass. I got that Xfinity. Yeah, I
got that 5G tower 3 miles away, and I still have these things go on now and then. Don't get it.
Dennis says, so don't you guys think that evil is showing itself? Don't you think it's been hiding behind something that portrays itself as good? This is how evil operates. It will always trick you. Yeah. And they've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that politicians are bad. And we've been fighting with all this and talking about it for years. But for a change, and finally, people are seeing who's who for what they are. And it's a scary thing that these people have been running our country for so long.
I said that the other day. Me and Danielle was talking. So Trump is the only president that I know of, probably in our lifetime, he's not able to be bought off. Right? He has his own money. He lost a whole bunch of money, when he assumed the role. So how long has this been going on, right? So this is the first president that can't get bought off. Anything pre him, you know, this corruption stuff has been going on for a long time, really long time. Evil showing itself. Yeah, Dennis, I agree. It's not even, they're not even trying to hide anything right now. Like this is just coming out. Everything's just pouring out of the left right now, and it's really making it stupid. I think there's a lot of folks that are converting right now. This flag right behind me is the flag that I fly in my front yard, along with 2 signs. And the street, I'm not going to mention any houses, but it's the house across the street from my house. They put up Biden signs in their front. They put their Biden signs up, you know, and this and that. And it was very ironic. I don't know if I sent you guys this picture, but there's a sign in their front yard that says Biden, and there's a flag hanging up off their garage with a rip down the middle of it. That flag had a tear right down the middle of it. It was so ironic. I took a picture of it. Eddie, I sent it to you, but I will. And since then, they've replaced the flag, and the flag's hanging by just the top. So it's the flag's just kind of driven, like showing a full flag. And then they have taken their Biden signs out of their front yard. I'm not sure why. I don't know if somebody stole it or what. Would be in my book, but down the street too, the Biden signs are going there too. So I don't know if this means that they're changing their views, or they've had enough, or if somebody guy just came down the neighborhood and said, fuck that sign, I'm taking that sign. I don't know what's going on, but their signs are going. My signs are still up, and they ain't going nowhere until after this election.
Yeah,
it's going to go back in my front yard tonight after this podcast.
Yeah, Gordon jumped out here and he says, assumption is the root of all evil. To assume someone is this or that, or thinks this way or that way. Then we've got Barbie. She says, amen, Eddie. So true. And Barbie also says, absolutely, we haven't had an honest president since JFK other than Trump. And Gordon says, well, it's okay to steal a Biden sign, especially now with this pandemic and the scarcity of ass paper. So, but real quick,
that or firewood, Gordon.
Guys, one of my neighbors down the street, he's a really nice guy. He's really mega pro Trump, great guy. I got him a roll of toilet paper with Nancy Pelosi on it, and so he got the biggest kick out of that when we handed him the toilet paper. And the next day I called him. I said, hey, did you meet up with Nancy? And he goes, yeah, I flushed her. And that was absolutely hilarious. And
Woof, that's a brave man.
And then let's see here. Dennis says, that's when I knew Trump was the real deal. He's taking down the banking cartel. Yeah, he is. And then Gordon just says, not Gordon. I guess he's talking about the toilet paper, maybe. But Gordon, you're supposed to be enjoying a ball game. Why are you still on here?
Dedication. Like Darren would say, it's dedication.
It's really hard to stay away from this stuff because, I mean, some of this stuff is just so crazy and so far out there. You can't make this shit up. I mean, when all this crap first started, I was in shock. And nothing shocks me. You know, I mean, I've dealt with hair, teeth, and eyeballs, and you name it. You know, and nothing surprises me, nothing shocks me. But seeing these grown-ass politicians acting like a bunch of idiots, you know, and these are the people running our cities, our counties, our states, our government. I mean, what the hell? Seriously, people, I mean, what is going on? These people need to go. They need to be out of there already. I mean, for real, it's terrible. And let's see here. I've got to say on here, political analytical. Gordon doesn't think like I do. Okay, so I think we've got Tom on here and Gordon as political analytical. So Tom Rudisill and Gordon Park are on here also. So they're both watching and coming across as political analytical. And Tom has been doing a lot of stuff on behind the scenes. He's been posting a lot of stuff out there for us, and and just basically getting the news out there and what's taking place all in one place, so y'all can get on here and check it out. And real quick, while I got everybody's attention, go ahead and share out this page to everybody, so see how many people we can get to come in. Share it on your page, share it on other walls, and let people know about political analytical and what we're trying to do, and how we talk, what we say. That way people know they can come on here and basically share their thoughts. And Dennis says, no shit, you really can't make this up. And Barbie says, I wouldn't even wipe my ass in Nancy's face. She would give me hemorrhoids. Yeah, I think she'd
probably give you more than that. She'd probably give you a set of dentures in your butthole.
Damn.
Tom says, right on. And Danielle, he says, no, Barbie, even if she would scare the Hemis away. Now that's funny, scare right there.
Hemis away. Wow.
Scare the Hemis away. Get rid of them. So yeah, I mean, all this that we're talking about this stuff needs to be implemented. Term limits. You name it. I mean, and the people that we've got out there running the country right now, they need to go. I'm so done with these idiots. Seriously.
When I first got into politics or started learning about politics and everything, it was from our parents. And I remember, this is clear back when JFK, okay, so I'm kind of aging myself here, but I remember that you could have different ideologies and you could have different politics and everything, but we were civilized. We were people that were grown fucking adults that didn't want to burn somebody else's house down because you like somebody else. And I miss that America, guys. I really do, because we've gone a long way from civility, and we've got a long ways to come back to it.
Absolutely, James.
Yeah, totally agree, man. I mean, you remember. The best times, it was the weirdest time, but the best times I can remember was the 80s. It was weird. Yeah, I get it. Mike's hanging around, but it was really the coolest, time you could be in was the 80s. Will we ever get to that again? I don't think so. I really had happening, but I mean, hell, just 5-6 years ago was a cool time too. We have a lot of things coming out, a lot of new stuff going on, but I think the 80s were pretty badass, and if we can get back to that would be great. But as far as right now goes, man, I'm not very optimistic, especially if we lose, but I think we will. I really don't. But if we lose this election, man, who the hell knows what's going to happen right now?
Well, real quick, James, I have to tell you, Darren really thinks Nancy has a cute butt. He said it.
Oh, I'm not sure. I didn't even know Nancy had an ass to begin with. She wears it well on her face, but I didn't see anything from the back.
No, he's seen her butt. I mean, he said it's a pity it's on her shoulder.
Well, hey, man, there's a friggin' market for everything. But damn.
Yeah. And Barbie says, shit.
Terrible.
For the brain she has. Indeed. And Dennis says,
man,
knows about the extraterrestrial presence on Earth. What?
I think he does.
If he does, he's really good at saying he doesn't. I saw a deal with him talking with Tucker Carlson, and he's pretty believable that he says, well, he goes,
Dude, wouldn't that?
I think they're. He goes, I think there's people. He goes that believe that they're here. He goes, I personally don't, but you never know. So he kind of left it where he's open.
Wouldn't that
about it? And so
wouldn't that be the first thing you would ask as the president?
Dude, I would be so into Area 51. You have to drag me out of there with the, there's no way I'd even.
That would be my first question.
But you know,
I was like, yeah, okay. I just presidential thing. Yeah. So what about the aliens, man?
yeah, plausible deniability, dude. The least amount of information they give them, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
he has to lie. And then Danielle says, if Trump loses, we could all move to New Zealand with Darren. Darren, you got
negative. I'm not moving in with Darren. Thinks Pelosi has a
No.
nice ass, and I am not going anywhere near New Zealand. If that's the outlook they have, I am going over there. No way.
political analytical, and this is I'm thinking this is Gordon here. Says civility has stopped when we started teaching children in elementary school. You know that everyone gets a trophy, and that words will always harm you. So what happened to that old rhyme they taught us when we were little youngsters? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never harm me. It seems life would be such an easier task when the words don't change your electric bill. Sort of, let me see here. I lost it. Much easier when the words don't change your electric bill. Sort of speak. Children need to that the words never change anything. Darren says, yeah, Danielle, I'll open some beers and get the barbecue going. All right, Darren. So he's gonna let us come to New Zealand with him. And
That's cool.
Rick Arredondo says, I agree with Eddie. That's the first question I'll ask. And Barbie says, yes, I'll help Darren. Wink, wink. So sweet. We'll have barbecue.
Hey, real quick, shout out to my brother Rick Arredondo here. Co-worker of mine, used to be mine. We worked together at the facility down here. He's a big political guy. He's on our side, and I challenged him today. Hey Rick, what's up, man? ¿Qué onda, way? Challenge him today to try to get some folks involved from the left to get in on the discussion, because I'd love to have somebody to debate with, right? And maybe we can start turning some things and turning some people over. You know, man, I don't know if you were able to line that up, but pre-show, I was talking to Rick, seeing, hey man, if you can get some people on here to discuss in the chat board their views from the left and their views from the Biden or the anti-Trump, campaign or anything, get them on here and let's see what their outtake is and their outlook is, and see if we can kind of turn that switch a little bit, and see if we can get them on our side.
I've already tried to get some the left out here and get them on the show. Won't happen. There's no way they're going to show up. And it's an open invitation, and they don't want any part of it. Dennis says November 3rd is the most relevant day since the creation of humanity. We will either live in paradise or be enslaved for an eternity. So vote for Trump. Amen. Yeah, I guarantee you, like, they're saying that the taxes for the middle income people will not go up. They are so full of crap. Seriously.
Their thing is that they don't want to raise taxes on anyone that makes less than $400,000 a year. Sorry, but if you make 400 plus, you're upper middle to upper class, right?
That's upper class.
It's amazing what they're. Yeah, that's upper. Yeah, I mean, so but they're $1,000 a year, right? Anything above that, they don't. It's just insane, man. So watching the debate the other night, it was every time Kamala Harris opened her mouth, a lie would come out. And it was fun to watch. But I think Mike debate and Kamala she was so snide about everything. She just had that look on everything she said and everything she did just pissed me off. And it took everything I had to watch this whole thing through the whole, it just, man, I don't know. She riles me up, just gets me pissed off, because she's lying about everything.
Oh, absolutely. And Rick said, what's going, brother? I have a few that I had battles with already. I'll try to get them on. So he's going to try and get some of them on there. But I honestly don't think, Rick, that they're going to want to show up. Barbie says they don't know how to, and she's talking about having a discussion. And Political Analytical says you could never tax your way out of debt ever. Well, they're going to try. And if they don't tax their way out of debt, what they're going to do is take our tax monies and use them for their little special pet projects. But here's the thing.
They're already trying to bail out all these Democratic cities right now with the stimulus package. They're already trying to bail out everybody. All these Democratic run cities that are going from all this rioting and looting and stuff that they allowed and they progressed and that they permitted and probably paid them to do. Now they're trying to bail them out with taxpayer money, and it's total bull.
But see, here's the thing. They're not there. If they put these taxes in effect the way they want, people won't even be able to afford the homes they live in.
No.
They'll be taxed right out of their house.
Mm-mm. I guess I'm getting really tired of seeing and hearing Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all the other politicians on that left and from that government as far as democratic society, when they sit there and blatantly look you in the eye on TV and then sit there and say, we speak for the American people. Bullshit. You don't speak for me.
Don't
speak for me. You know,
nope.
I don't know who they're speaking for, but it damn sure isn't one of us that's on this show right now.
And Darren says it'll be amazing what President Trump will do in the next 4 years. I think we're going to see a big change. And you got to remember, these next 4 years, he gets elected. These next 4 years, he's not going to be running for office. So he's not going to be doing things as politically correct as he has been. Okay. So people think that he's mouthy now. Just wait. He's going to get shit straight and no one's going to stop him. He's been having to play the political party or the political game with these people because he was going to run again. He gets elected again. This is his last term. He's going to shove it so far where the sun don't shine that they'll never see the light of day.
I think a good example of that right now is him. He declassified all of the Clinton and all of the Mueller all this stuff, all the Russian hoax stuff. He just recently declassified everything. And I think that's because, you know, he's a little arrogant, right? So I think he's on the tip of, hey, I know I'm going to win this election, so let's give the people something to bite on, right? Declassify all this stuff, which names so many people in the corruption of this Rush investigation right now. It is ridiculous what's going on with this thing. And they're blowing the lid off. He's blowing the lid off of everything right now. And I think that's what, like you said, he's not going to zip his lip up. He's going to start doing things like this. He's going to start declassifying things that it's just going to blow your mind. You know, we already knew how dirty Hillary is and how dirty that side and everybody else is, right? We already knew that. But for him to do this, and hopefully they're sweating right now. Hopefully they're going, oh, shit, here we go. You remember when he on his first debate with Hillary, she says, it's a good thing that we don't have a president with a temperament like you do. And his response was, yeah, because you'd be in jail. I think that's what he's trying to do. And I hope that's what he's trying to do.
Well, the Political Analytical just made a comment over here that hopefully within the next 4 years, we'll see a lot of people going to jail. And I hope so. I hope all these corrupt bastards are handcuffed and thrown in the deepest part of the whatever prison they decide to put them in, and just get rid of them for good, because they don't need
Guantanamo Bay.
You know, Darren says, "Yeah, that's right, Rick. When they speak, you can count on the opposite being the truth. When they talk about people being free, it really means they want people controlled." And Dennis says these next 4 years, he's going to rock not only the world, but the deep state. It's getting fun. Well, it's going to be real fun come November 3rd.
I think if he gets elected again, and even prior to election, especially after election, if he wins, okay, I know the budget is going out the roof right now on security for him and his family and everybody else that's on that Capitol Hill and everything.
Oh, yeah.
it is going to quadruple again if he wins, because you're going to have people come out of the woodwork that, I mean, if you think they're pissed now, just wait. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're going to try to assassinate him, but I would not put that up. I would not put him past it. I really wouldn't.
Surprise me one bit. Would not surprise.
Because we've seen what happened to JFK when he messed with the Treasury and everything else like that. And this is exactly what Donald Trump is doing right now, is rolling heads.
Political Analytical says the best shooters in the United States are conservatives. What do you think, James?
I know I'm a good shot, so
What do you think, Rick?
yeah, I totally agree.
I'm going to
What do
plead
you
the fifth on that one. Come over and
Come
try.
on, Rick.
See. All right. Yeah, I am too. I'm a damn good shot. So is everybody in my family and my
There
friends.
you go.
Darren says, yes, you guys can look forward to new technologies even. I think it's going to be a quantum leap for America in the next few years under Trump. I agree. I think Trump's going to really push some stuff up and out. Barbie says, I pray he wins and wins big. You know, so yeah, and that's the big part is me, because I don't want any kind of bullshit. Them coming back and saying, oh, well, there was a mistake, you know, and it wasn't that by that big of a margin. You know, we want them to win so big that there's no way they'll be able to try and steal the election. And Political Analytical says, if they steal this election, there will be war. And
Well, that brings me to another
get
topic,
so-
Eddie.
I'm sorry.
Eddie, that brings me into another part of the topic, Eddie, is the fact how trustworthy does the American people feel about this mail-in ballot?
Not at all, because this isn't an absentee voting system. This isn't
No.
where it's controlled at all. So this crap about them telling you that this absentee voting is going to be like it is in Florida or say Pennsylvania, that's bullshit. They're mailing this stuff out by the truckloads, and you got ballots floating around everywhere. Anybody and their grandmother can sign it, and nobody's going to know any different. You know,
Nope.
and they're going to send this stuff in. Hell no. That is the
Which
big.
that brings me to this point right here.
You need.
We're always
So I mean, you
go
need
ahead,
a
Eddie.
license to do anything as far as identifying yourself. If you buy a gun, you got to have a driver license. If you go to the bank, you have to have your driver license or ID card, something like that. You know, if you get a hunting license, you got to have some form of ID.
ID.
You got to have ID
Mhm.
in just about every scenario you can think of. So why, in one of the most important elections and one of the most important things in the United States, why wouldn't you need an ID to prove who you are?
Exactly. One of the things that pissed me off the most the other day was when Nancy Pelosi on national TV sat there and said, well, if you do not accept mail-in ballots, then we can discontinue to send our U.S. servicemen mail-in ballots because they're really not Americans. And did you guys see that?
No, I didn't see that.
No, I missed that. I didn't catch that.
I mean, it just totally pissed me off. I just wanted to reach you that screen and grab her by the, yeah. When she sits there and defames our own kids that are overseas and tells them that their ballot is not worthy because they're not really Americans at that time. Where does she get the balls to say that?
What a bitch.
Yeah, I can't believe that she even came out and said it.
Yeah. Yeah. She was mad
She's
because
disgusting.
Trump was talking
Stan
about
Harris.
the
Makes me sick.
Yep. She was mad because Trump was discussing the mail-in ballots and how it would be fraudulent. And then she had to go there and say, well, if we can't trust the Americans to vote, we can't trust any U.S. servicemen with a mail-in ballot because they're not really Americans at that time.
It's not, but see, it's not
Oh,
a
Jesus.
mail-in ballot. with the servicemen. It is an absentee voting system.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference between
So
the
my
two.
whole problem, my whole problem with this is November 3rd. We talk about November 3rd like it's a definitive day and it's final to everything, all this bullshit that's going on. I don't believe personally it's going to be November 3rd or 4th or 5th or December 4th. I think it's going to take a long time because there's going to be some corruption going around the final for the election. I don't think the 3rd is the definitive or the 4th is going to be the definitive day that we find out who's the president, because they're going to start calling, cheating on this end, cheating on that end, blah, 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 ballots that are, I mean, look, they're extending deadlines to these ballots. You can vote up to 15 days past the election in some places, so, I mean, it's going to happen November 3rd. That's not going to be the end all be all. I guarantee
not.
you.
Says to vote in Alabama, you have to show a picture ID. And I think everybody who votes should. You have to prove who you are when you vote. This is the most important.
Well, you're supposed to match the signatures too.
And well,
your signatures is,
you've got Danielle on here who even said, you show your picture ID when you go into a school. So if you have to show your picture ID going to a school, why don't you need it to vote in the most important election of all time? Okay. Dennis says, who cares about
right.
The financial system is being reset. Trump knows it. The central bank knows it. Their days are numbered. These rich bankers who control this world are sitting in their
shitting in their diapers.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't have my glasses on. Yeah, and then Darren says over here, that's why the election vote will be counted or contested for weeks after the election. And Barbie
Totally agree.
Yes, absentee and mail-in are completely different.
Now, for the next topic that I wanted to ask you guys about. This coming Tuesday, we're going to have a hell of a time and a hell of a damn battle as this number 9 SCOTUS election and vetting gets started. And that's going to be a shit show in itself.
Monday.
Okay,
it's supposed to start tomorrow.
I thought Columbus Day was illegal. I didn't know if Columbus Day was, their legal holiday or not.
Yeah.
No, it starts tomorrow and it ends Thursday.
Yeah,
so this is the vetting process.
And there's going to be all hell breaking loose.
Well, there is going to go Monday through Thursday. Yep, and then they'll make their vote there, and then they'll pass it on to the House, or I'm not sure whether they pass it on to the Senate, but they'll do a voting process this week, and then they'll pass it on the following. The earliest that she can get confirmed will be on the 1st, which is cutting it close.
Very close. Very close.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All righty. Well, guess what, guys? The hour has flown by. Can you believe it?
Wow. No.
Damn.
This is exactly why we're having to do Wednesdays as well, because I mean the hour is just too short.
Yeah.
And it we could go longer, but it makes it really difficult to get people to sit through a whole 2-hour show. We've tried that before, and we actually a lot of people watching. So that's why we're just doing 2 days and doing it that way. So let's go with some final words. Rick?
Okay. I just want to thank both of you for the opportunity of being on this show and everything. James, good to see you. Eddie, thank you for allowing me to be on a part of this program. And I want to thank everybody in that chat room too. And I think if every one of us talked to one person this week, maybe 2, and tell them what's really going on and maybe have them share in what we are trying to do as far as talk to the American people and get the voting population out. That is the most imperative thing we can do, is get the voting population out and get them informed on what's going to happen if we do not vote.
I agree. Absolutely, Rick. James?
Totally agree. And I'll say it, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You have to get out and vote. Get out there and vote. Rick, I back you up 100%. Don't know what kind of ass you're looking at in New Zealand, but Nancy Pelosi, the only ass she has is the one on top of her neck. And get out, vote this guy. Let me get this up. This guy right here, Trump. And I'll tell you, man, we're going to win this thing. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a landslide. Hopefully it is. It's just you guys, y'all just support as much as you can. And like we said, just turn as many people as possible. It's not worth an argument. If you're going to get into an argument with a liberal or a far left or or anything like that, just walk away. It's not even worth it, because these people, they're not going to change their mind. But if you got somebody you can grab their attention and you can educate these people and say, hey man, look at their policies and look at these policies and see where you're going to be in the future, change that person's mind and get them on the train if you can. That's what it's going to take. That's, there's so much corruption and cheating out there. We're going to need to be honest and have our honest folks and our people in there in our corner. Get this thing going on. Let's do it. Vote in person. Get off your ass. Fuck all these mail-in votes. Get out there and do it.
I agree, man. And like you said, get out there and vote in person. Don't sit there and worry about these mail-in. I mean, if your state does it like absentee type voting, then do what you got to. But while you're out there, I know Trump was asking everybody to be observant and vigilant while out voting. And if you see anything suspicious, to report it and turn it in. And I agree with that, because there's going to be a lot of shady things going on. And we really need to watch this election closely and watch what's taking place. Election night, we're going to be going live, and we're going to be on for quite a long time. And we're going to be seeing what's going to be transpiring. We're going to be talking about it. I don't know how many people are going to be on the show watching, but we're going to try and be on here in case anybody wants to come give their opinions or thoughts. And we're going to be talking about this for quite a while, many hours, and trying to see if we can keep everybody informed as to what's taking place. But I just want to say that we love you guys, and we appreciate you being on the show. We appreciate the comments and the questions. And, as always, please share Political Analytical out. Share our podcast out. Our podcast is the only way that we can actually get any type of monetary backing. And it's very, very weak right now because we just started it. So when you see our podcast come up, please share it out as much as possible. There's equipment and things like that we need to get to keep the show running and keep it, pushing forward. It's all funded, out of our own pockets, and we do the best we can with what we have. So the podcast is where we ask, and hopefully, people can help donate something into, for the cause. And we'd appreciate anything. It doesn't matter how big or how small. We accept it all, because it does take funding to keep pushing forward. And as everybody knows, with in politics, it's a money game, and it's all about trying to have what you need in order to fight the fight. But we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being on. We're always going to be here and always going to have the show going no matter what. But we appreciate all you do. Please forward, share it with your friends, share it with your family, and get the word out. And please vote, and tell anybody that doesn't want to vote that this time they really need to. And if they don't vote, that's a vote for Biden. So keep that in mind as well. If they don't vote, they're voting for Biden. And exactly. We have to vote for Trump in order to make all this stuff happen and make it go through. So we're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to keep chugging along. It's getting close, folks, getting real close. So, just do your best, and we'll be here. Remember, Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. Until next time, y'all take care. We love you guys. Be safe. Take care. Be vigilant. And we'll see you again here real soon.